smiling down on me as I wake up under the willow tree, and just as soon as it feels I could be so sad. You got the motivation, son, you know you're capable. Sometimes you've gotta push the cart when there ain't no horse to pull it. It ain't no real big secret, it's just that you try. While others are content, wonder why, oh why, oh why. How's it going? How you doing, my friend? It's been a long time since we've had a conversation. How's it going? How you doing, my friend? Yeah, man, I know what you're saying. I felt the same way too. This time about a year ago, I was feeling just like you. I was standing next to the lake. The water started getting high. I had to head out for the hills. I did not want to die. How's it going? How you doing, my friends? It's been a long time since we've had a conversation. How's it going? How you doing, my friend? This ain't it. Thank you. Wait. Well, now lately I got all these pictures just running through my brain, just like in Guy Clark's Desperados waiting for a train. When my time is over, if I happen to meet that fate, well, I hope that you'll be there, Grandpa, to greet me at the gate, singing, how's it going? How you doing, my friend? It's been a long time since we've had a conversation. How's it going? How you doing, my friend? How's it going? How you doing, my friend? It's been a long time since we've had a conversation. How's it going? How you doing, my friend? How's it going, everybody? Greetings. Who do we got here? We got Amber and Not Gonna Happen. Hello, Doug. Hey, Barry. I hope that means Barry and Virginia. Please light it up in the comments section. Comments are great. Shares and comments really make Facebook tick. I'm trying to educate people about this. It's really the essential sharing is caring, and comments just boom, boom. Mr. Jeff Gaynor in the house. Jeff Gaynor is one of the people that played on this album. Today, I'm doing songs from Another Man's Treasure. Where is the picture? Right there in the green tie, that's Jeff Gaynor. He played a bunch of stuff on this album. I'm going to be talking about all of that over the course of the next whatever this is. What is it? Hey, Steven. How you doing, sir? This album is from 2013. And it was just an amazing experience making it. Getting it all to happen was just a logistical scramble, and it came together so brilliantly. Confluence is, I think, what they call it. Confluence. Because on June 17th and 18th of 2013 in Eden, New York, my friend Matt Smith, who was the guitar player in a band called Scott Carpenter and the Real McCoys, I'll get back to them in just a second here. Matt Smith had a studio in his barn. He was living on property that he grew up in. It was his mom's house, I think, for a while, and then it became where he lived. I don't think he's there anymore, but the barn was a studio. Analog tape. Had a couple of reel-to-reel machines and an old console, and I got together with him, and I was like, I'd like to record an album here. And then what I was able to orchestrate with so much help from my friends, Jeff Gaynor, who lived in Houston, Texas at the time, flew up to Buffalo and spent a few days in New York to be part of this album. Mike Eck, who I met in Williamsport, Pennsylvania in the late 90s, early 2000s. Michael still had lived in Pennsylvania at the time, but he had a wedding to attend in Indiana. He drove out to the wedding in Indiana and then drove to the session. There was a guy named Mark Whitaker who played banjo on a lot of tracks, and he played bass on some tracks, and he lent his voice to a couple of the group vocals. Mark and Michael knew each other from college. I visited Michael when he was at Earlham in Indiana many years earlier, and there's a very strong possibility I met Mark Whitaker unbeknownst to us like 20 years ago. So there's just a whole bunch of stuff like that. Hey, who do we got here now? Bonnie in the house, Eric in the house, from San Francisco, far out, San Francisco representing. So I'll talk more about the people that were involved in the album as we go. I want to play another song. And this song here, track 2 on the album, has become a very popular song at my shows. I didn't write it. It was written by a guy named Scott Carpenter, and he had a band called Scott Carpenter and the Real McCoys. And the engineer on these sessions was Mr. Matt Smith. Matt is a great rock and roll guitar player. On the album recording, it's Matt Smith playing the lead electric guitar, which just... that did it for me, because I used to go see Scott and the Real McCoys all the time. So I was in my room one day playing the song. I decided to start playing it at shows, and people were like, "You should record that." And I was like, "I should record that," you know. So without further ado, let me make sure I got this thing set the right way. That could be embarrassing if I don't. Here's a song called Signpost. The song got a lot of airplay in Boston on WUMB radio, which was awesome. I'd be driving around Boston, running my errands, going to the market basket, listening to UMB. Hey, that's my recording that they're playing. My recording of a Scott Carpenter song. Leaning on a signpost in the rain, I gotta find my way back home again. I wanna see you smiling down on me as I wake up under the willow tree. And just as soon as it feels I could be so safe, I turn my back and your blue eyes turn away. Turn my back and your blue eyes turn every wall, no matter how thick, only as strong as its weakest brick. I need shelter from this raging sea, bricks that keep on falling on me. And just as soon as it feels I could be so safe, turn my back and your blue eyes turn away. Turn my back and your blue eyes turn away. Signpost in the rain, I gotta find my way back home again. I wanna see you smiling down on me as I wake up under the willow tree. And just as soon as it feels I could be so safe, turn my back and your blue eyes turn away. Turn my back and your blue eyes turn away. Turn my back and your blue eyes turn. Hey, Lori Bousquet. Hey, Mr. Tom Bianchi. I missed the thing. Mad applause. Oh, that was fun. Signpost, the Scott Carpenter song that I love to play so much, and everybody encouraged me to record it, and there you go, track 2 from Another Man's Treasure. Want to say something real quick. I got the PayPal, I got the Venmo information down there at the bottom of the screen, as I've done with the previous live streams. 25% of today's donations will go, I will forward them on to another cause other than my own groceries and rent. You know what I'm saying? Today, this live stream, I'm going to donate 25% of what comes into Music Cares, MUSICARES. Music Cares is a, what do you call it? What's the word for it? They're a division, I guess, of the Grammys. And they do a lot of good things to help musicians through hard times. I know myself, I needed to have a tooth extracted a bunch of years back, and I could not afford that procedure. And I applied for a grant to Music Cares, and they gave me the money I needed to make it happen with the dental appointment, you know. So it's a great organization. I've known of them for many years. They do a lot of great things. They've got a COVID-19 relief fund. So 25% of what comes in today, when everything's said and done at the end of this, I'll go into my Venmo, PayPal, add it all up, figure out the 25% thing, and make a donation to Music Cares COVID-19 relief fund. So that's a little bit about that. Now, how's it going? That's an old song of mine. I recorded a version of that on an album back in 2000 called In the Meantime. It was mostly just acoustic guitar, a little bit of help from my buddy John Brady, and then Signpost, as I just said, that's a Scott Carpenter song. Linda Davis in the house. And Paul is off at a medical appointment, yes? Hopefully he'll be able to check this all out later on. Anyway, continuing on with the story there, for a time in the early 2010s, somewhere between 2012 and 2014, a fellow named Jack Hardy had died. I forget the exact date, year, etc., but Jack was very well known in the folk community for these songwriter critique things that would happen at his house. Every Monday, I think it was, he would make a big batch of pasta sauce. People would come over. He'd serve pasta and spaghetti sauce, and they'd workshop songs. What have you written in the last week? And just play it, and everybody else would give their input on it. And when he died, a bunch of Jack Hardy-inspired songwriter hangs were happening all over the country. I hosted one for a while, and this song came just before I started doing it on a weekly basis. I remember going to a dinner party, and it was a bunch of friends, and at the end of the night, me and a couple of the other songwriters there, we asked the people that weren't the songwriters in the gang, on 3, 2, 1, say whatever word pops into your head. And the people at the party that day, they said riddle, arch, granite, and wolf. My mind exploded, and I came up with this song called The Wolf. I listen to a song by Neil Young called Thrasher all the time. It's influenced a lot of my work. This is one of those songs where I was just listening to Thrasher every day for months, and then I got the prompt, riddle, arch, granite, wolf, and I put it all together in this song. Track 3 from Another Man's Treasure. If you recognize the burn back room at the end of this song, it's because it's written about the burn back room. This ain't an ancient riddle written out in Sanskrit lines. It's a one-act play with a revolving cast. It's been staged 1,000 times. The stagehands know the rigging. The actors know their cues. The director's just pretending like he knows what to do. Still I feel that I know you. Still I feel that I do. There is wisdom in the desert where the rock formations arc. There's a tribe that thrives by not blindly shooting its arrows in the dark. There's a wolf in you filled with love and giving. There's another filled with fear and greed, and the one that grows the strongest is the wolf you feed. Still I feel that I know you. Still I feel that I do. There's a castle built on granite. There's a mall made out of steel. There's a semi out on a 4-lane with a child at the wheel. In the back room on a Sunday, as the evening winds on down, there are many conversations and some friends joking around. And the bookworm on her bar stool, just as pretty as she sings, hasn't seen enough to know tattoos and scars are different things. Still I feel that I know you. Still I feel that I do. Still I feel that I know you. Maybe someday you know me too. The Wolf, track number 3 on Another Man's Treasure. Put that album out in 2013. And by the number of copies I have left, which is approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, I think it's the most popular CD I ever made. I've got many copies of Never Knew Caroline left, and I didn't make the most recent albums on CD. I put them all out digitally. But yeah, I've had this one printed about 3,000 times, and I'm down to, I think these are the last 6 of them that I've got. I'm gonna dare myself to do something. I didn't think I would do this when I put the idea together to play this show today. I didn't think I was gonna play the electric bass during this show. This morning I started goofing around with this, and well, this will either go all right or it won't. Track 4 on the album. Is that not on? What did I do wrong? Track 4 on the album is called You Are My Sunshine. Can we order CDs? Linda, I only have these ones. We could text message about it. Yeah. I don't know how else to do it. I can't deal with it right now, but maybe remind me in a text message later on. Maybe we can work it out. I used to date a young woman, and she was going to Bard College, and I would visit her a lot in Tivoli, New York. And there was a bar just down the road from her then apartment, and they had a regular jam that would happen there, and I would go and participate in the jam. And some of the guys were doing an A minor version of You Are My Sunshine. I was like, that's awesome, you know. And I couldn't sing it in A minor, so I changed it to E minor, which wound up changing the groove a little bit too. And I started playing it in the Burn front room at these Americana sessions that we were doing around the table up there. And again, it was like everybody was digging it a lot, and it was around the time that I was, harvesting out songs for this album, you know. So went ahead and recorded an E minor version of You Are My Sunshine, and this features a huge group vocal on it, and part of the group vocal is Ashley Amoya and my buddy Ryan Fitzsimmons and the aforementioned Michael Eck and Mark Whitaker and Jeff Gaynor and Jim Whitford, who played bass on this album and pedal steel on some songs. We all gathered around one big microphone there and just like shouted out You Are My Sunshine into the room. When you listen to this album, you're listening to 2 days of just full-on recording. On Monday, the 17th of June, we did a 16-hour session or 13 hours, something like that, and recorded 10 songs. And then the next day, we did an 8-hour session. On Tuesday, the 18th, we recorded 6 more songs, had them all mixed, and then boiled it down to the 12-song album that it is. I've never done this song on electric bass before, but, why the hell not try now in front of people on the internet? You Are My Sunshine. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in... Is this thing out of tune? This was it. I swear, friends, I tuned this instrument before I started today so that something like this would not happen. But something sounds not in tune right there. I gotta find it. Maybe it's my head that's not in tune. That would not be the first time that had happened either. feel like I was hitting the wrong notes or something. All right, try that again. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. When I woke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung my head and I cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. I will always love you and make you happy. If you would only do the same. If you should leave me for another, you'll regret it all someday. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. You told me once, dear, you truly loved me. I hope you're dancing, Bonnie. And no one else could come between. Now you have left me for another. You have shattered all my dreams. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. No, please don't take my sunshine away. All right. Not as painless, not as painful. It was different than I thought it'd be. All right, friends. Moving right along. I need to work on that some. Thank you for indulging me and being my guinea pigs, as our friend Not Gonna Happen so wonderfully pointed out there. A little bit of water to get me through the next couple of songs. So at some point around 2012, maybe it was early 2013, might have been late 2012, Not this particular banjo, but I bought a tinier Stella, I think, tenor banjo. My sister had sent me a message, forwarded an email about a one-day guitar garage sale, and I happened to be home in Cheektowaga at the time, and so the listing for the one-day guitar garage sale said a bunch of stuff about electric and acoustic guitars, and it mentioned a tenor banjo. And I thought, well, that's interesting. So I went, got there bright and early, checked it out, and the guy had it marked for like make an offer, kind of thing. And I was like, well, I don't know what they're worth, kind of thing, right? And he's like, well, what do you think? And I think I wound up offering like $100 or $125, and he very happily took the money from me, which made me think afterwards, maybe this wasn't worth $125, whatever I wound up paying for it. But I got it home and discovered something that he didn't know about it. It had songs in it. Yeah, true story. Started playing around on it, and it wound up being the instrument that I wrote some songs on, including this one here called A Dream About You. Doctors say everybody dreams, but I don't remember a thing in the morning when I rise. I'm a blank slate. If what they say is true, I better dream about you. I do not pray that the Lord take my soul anymore, and I haven't for years, and yet I sleep very deeply. If I were to change my point of view, I'd pray for a dream about you. Sometimes it seems it comes out in songs what belongs in my dreams. Doctors say everybody dreams, but I don't remember a thing in the morning when I rise. I'm a blank slate. If what they say is true, if my mind is racing while my body doesn't move, though these pictures don't come into view, I better dream about you. A Dream About You. I forget which banjo I played on the recording of that. I didn't play the one that I talked about buying, that Stella. It's good for writing songs on, but maybe not high quality enough for recording songs on. My buddy Ryan Fitzsimmons, who lives in Amesbury, Massachusetts. For some reason, in June of 2013, he was in Syracuse, New York. For all I know, it was like Father's Day weekend or something. Regardless of the circumstances, he was just down the road from Buffalo, hanging out in Syracuse. So he was able to get away from commitments there for one day. That day was Monday the 17th of June, and Ryan came with his great voice and his mind for production and everything else that he brought to the project, but he'd also borrowed a beautiful tenor banjo from work, as well as a 1922 Gibson CB4 cello banjo. Which got played on as many songs as we could work it on to the production of. And in the credits on the album, if you were to look through here, it says on every song that it's on, it's a 1922 Gibson CB4 cello banjo. That banjo, by the way, that cello banjo, I believe, unless something has changed, it's now the property of Dinty Child of Session Americana. He wound up buying that instrument, but we had it for a couple of days, and Ryan had lent me a banjo to sing like A Dream About You and all that. And A Dream About You was the last song recorded on that first day, because Ryan wasn't going to be around on Tuesday and he couldn't leave the borrowed banjo with us in Eden, New York. So we had to get through those songs, and it was the last song I recorded on a day where I'd sung Garbage Man and Signpost and Train and Living the Life and what all else? Like all the loud ones, you know, Circular World. I think How's It Going was part. Well, How's It Going was definitely part of the day. But anyway, at the end of the day, where we'd recorded 10 songs, I sang A Dream About You. When you hear fatigue in my voice on the recording, it's because it's the last thing that happened on that amazing day. Now I'm going to play you one of the songs that I would consider one of the, as far as the stuff that I wrote, like obviously You Are My Sunshine is a much older song than Garbage Man, but Garbage Man for me is one of the older songs. How's It Going is one of the older songs. I remember writing this song in Atlanta, Georgia. I was in Atlanta, Georgia, just probably part of some tour that I was doing, and I like signed up for the Eddie's Attic open mic, you know, songwriter challenge thing. And I was staying with friends. And for the longest time in life, staying with friends for me meant sleeping on a couch. I mean, I'm older now, and many of my friends now have houses and guest rooms and a comfortable queen-size bed. But early on in touring life, you know, staying with friends meant I was sleeping on a lumpy futon or you know, a couch. And I remember waking up in Atlanta, Georgia, face down on this couch, and it was the only thing that was in my brain that morning was, my dad was a garbage man, my dad was a garbage man, my dad was like incessant for an hour. And I picked up the guitar and I'm like, my dad was a garbage. I just did that for a while, and then, you know, boom, the way the song goes all popped out in like 10 minutes. I couldn't write it down fast enough. So track number 6 from Another Man's Treasure, Garbage Man. My dad was a garbage man. My dad was a garbage man. My dad was a garbage man. Held onto a truck, man, it stunk. Walking through your neighborhood picking up cans. Your dad is a sanitation worker. My dad was a garbage man. Every morning, my dad came home every night. My mama made him breakfast and dinner. It's an antiquated system, but it worked all right. Had 3 kids and provided for them. My daddy was a garbage man. We never had everything we wanted. Sure enough, had everything we needed. Plenty of stuff that money can't buy. Then that don't believe it, ought to give it a try. My dad got a CDL, finished his career behind the wheel A lot of stuff changes over 34 years. You triple up them syllables, the meaning disappears. Your dad's an environmental social worker. My dad was a garbage man. It's a job that I respect and words I understand. My daddy was a garbage man. Thank you. No, it's, come on. Come on. All right. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for that. You all are the best. So, get out of this contraption here. Let's see. So that's the halfway point. That right there. That's song 6 on a 12-song album is what that is. So we're at the halfway point. Gonna switch over and play you one on the piano right now. This song was the hardest one to record. I don't know why, but we were on a mission to record as many songs as we could in 2 days, and we did a few of them in one. Bam, done. I think Garbage Man was one take. You know, maybe we had to start over because a level clipped or something. I don't recall that part, but like Garbage Man, Signpost, boom, right out of the gate. We had done like 2-3 songs in the first hour. We just, next song. You know, Matt Smith behind the console, keeping everything moving right along, capturing it all on 1-inch analog tape. Everything's moving along. And then we get to this song here, Living the Life. And it's the one song on the album that I'm going to play on piano. And there's a piano in the studio, but for some reason on June 18th, 17th, and 18th, the keys are sticking on the piano. When I had visited Matt back in whatever it was, February, March, April, or, you know, whenever that visit happened, that piano worked great. But now it was a humid day or something and everything was sticking. So like the piano was not usable, and I am not used to playing on a keyboard. But we had Michael X keyboard, we had Jeff Gaynor's keyboard. The keys were available, you know. So I'm like, all right, I was going to play it on piano, but I'll try playing it on the keyboard, which feels different under my fingers. And I felt like I was nailing it. It really did. I felt like I was playing it well. But for whatever reason, like levels weren't right, the harmony vocal on the call response, something was goofed up. Like we wound up doing like 5-6 takes of this. And I remember just being like, okay, this is the last go at it. We either nail it right now or we scrap it and move on. And we got it on our final take at it. Who do we have here? Hey there, Leah Marie Dean. Aaron Sugar in the house. Anybody that's seen any of my cool animated videos know Aaron Sugar. I think Laurie Bousquet said hi earlier. Conceived and created by Laurie Bousquet and Aaron Sugar. You might have seen the Hole in a Ship video or Why I Oughta. I think there might be some more stuff coming soon. Could happen, you know. But anyway, stay tuned for that. Moving right along with the Another Man's Treasure album. Gonna do track number 7 for you. It's called Living the Life. Gotta make sure all my ducks are in a row here. Gonna switch over to the piano for one. Raise a toast to you here at 2:44 in the afternoon. Thank you all for commenting. It means so much to me. Hey, Franny, to see the comment section lighting up. It really does. It also, it helps me to know that the sound is still going out into the world, you know. I worry about, like, technology and whatnot, so I do appreciate when people react to stuff. It means a lot to me. Let me get my thing here. All right, sing along if you know it. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Stayed out all night again. Sounds like you've been living the life. I played music with my friends. Sounds like you've been living the life. Woke up at the crack of noon. Sounds like you've been living the life. Singing a different tune. Sounds like you've been living. I can't get nothing right. Life is rife with indecision, and at a moment's notice it could be gone. Now I guess I drove at least 1,000,000 miles. People walk right up to me all smiles. Bet you I can guess out of what they're thinking as I stare at my alarm clock blinking. I can't get nothing right. Life is rife with indecision, and at a moment's notice it could be gone. Well, I hooked up with a movie star. She said she liked the way that I play guitar. I rolled a joint while she batted her lashes. Yes, and I watched the whole thing go to ashes. I can't get nothing right. Life is rife with indecision, and at a moment's notice it could be gone. I can't get nothing right. Life is rife with indecision, and at a moment's notice it could be gone. Sounds like you've been living the life. Sounds like you've been living the life. Sounds like you've been living the life. Sounds like you've been living. Thank you. Got so crazy with that one that the album that I had propped up on the fell down. Craziness. Or science. One of the two. Let's see here now. What's next on the album? I ought to look. It's Train. Train. Oh man, I remember writing this song too because I had an amplifier. I have a Fender Princeton amplifier, and at times in my owning of it, it's needed to be repaired, and I had it out on the road with me, and it needed it bad, and I dropped it off with a dude in Memphis, and then I went to do some other touring, and then I picked it up, and I had it with me in Arkansas, and I'm staying at my friend Nancy Paddock had a shack on the back of her property, and I was staying there on this particular occasion, out in the woods, had the amp turned on to 10, and I happened to have been listening to a lot of Kinks on that drive, you know, Bill Passalacqua in the house, living the life. Barry, that's right, living the life, Bill Poss. We need to get a Bill Poss, Greg Clymer reunion together. Let's go. Poss, you can wear my hat. I was out there in Arkansas, and I had my newly repaired Fender Princeton amplifier, and it's just awesome. And I cranked the thing up. I'm out in the woods, not bothering anybody, you know, because for miles it's just me in woods, right? So I'm like playing these Kinks riffs, and then I'm like, I want to write a Kinks riff, you know, and I did my best job with da-na-na-na-na. It felt like that, and I found myself out there in that cabin just playing that da-na-na-na-na. I wish I was a train. I just, like, again, hours of like, I wish I was a train. And then days later, I find myself in Nashville hanging out with a guy named Luke Dick. If you got my C&W album off of Bandcamp, you know the name Luke Dick as the co-writer of track 3 on that album, Beginner's Luck. I was staying at Luke's house, and when I wasn't working on the song with him, I was off taking walks, working on the lyrics for this song, Train. So I wrote this. I would go for a walk. I would smoke a cigarette. I don't know why I was smoking cigarettes on that particular occasion. I just was. Maybe I didn't have any pot. Whatever. Anyway, I digress. I would write a verse to the song while out on a walk, and then be like, all right, I need to get back, and I'd scribble it down. I'd be like, okay, I'm in the mode. Why don't I write another verse? And nothing would come to me. And then I would go take another walk, and like 30 minutes later, I'd be back at the house scribbling it down. And I came up with a song called Train. On this song, on the album, you got Jim Whitford on electric bass and pedal steel. He must have overdubbed that later on. Mark Whitaker played banjo. Chris DeSanti, Chris, who I know from here in Arlington, Massachusetts, he drove in and he was part of the sessions on the 17th and 18th of June, and played drums on a bunch of stuff, sang on a couple of the big group vocal things, and played the hell out of the tambourine on Garbage Man. That's a fast song. That's 90 Seconds of Love right there. Anyway, on Train, you got Chris DeSanti on drums, you got Jeff Gaynor on piano, Michael Eck on organ, Ryan Fitzsimmons on guitar and harmony, and I played acoustic and electric guitar in this. I remember I went in later and I overdubbed the electric guitar part. Goes like this here. I wish I was a train, wish I was a railroad line. Girl I've been sleeping with thinks that she's in love with me. All the while I was thinking it was just a casual thing. I thought I was being clear, she's been all emotional. The girl I've been sleeping with is not the woman that I love, oh no. Wish I was a train, wish I was a railroad line. The woman that I love, she knows my name, she has my number. She also has a boyfriend and she thinks I'm only flirting with her. The girl I've been sleeping with keeps my mind preoccupied. I've shared her bed for 5 months, never thinking I was stringing her along. Wish I was a railroad line. I wish I was a train. Wish I was a railroad line. The train needs a name. Go ahead and give it mine. Girl I was sleeping with, she broke it off without precision. She sent me a text message, confused me with abbreviations. The woman that I love seems unaware that I have feelings for her. I guess it's better off that way. I would hate to lose her as a friend. Was a train, wish I was a railroad line. Play a tune like that, it's a good idea to tune up your guitar afterwards. There's every good possibility in the world that you just totally whacked it clear out of tune. New strings too, because I care. Put new strings on the guitar. Got my Venmo, got my PayPal information down there at the bottom of the screen. 25% of today's donations will be donated to Music Cares COVID-19 Relief Fund. Music Cares is an amazing organization, part of the Grammys. They do good things for musicians. So let's see here. I told you about those Jack Hardy inspired songwriter hangs. Write a new song, bring it to the group, everybody critiques it. And half of the songs on this album came about during that experience for me. Some of them were older. Signpost, Scott Carpenter song, You Are My Sunshine, Governor Jimmy Davis song. You know, I had written How's It Going in the late 90s. Took care of a woohoo. Thank you. Thank you, not gonna happen. Isaac. But some of these other songs came up during that period of time where we were getting together on a weekly basis, bring a new song, play it for everybody, open yourself up to their criticism of it. A lot of positive feedback, you know, sometimes not so positive, but that's my fault. I apologize for the things I've said about other people's songs. Bad me. But many of these songs, The Wolf, A Dream About You, Living the Life, Circular World, and Time Does Fly. Time Does Fly, in fact, was the first song I ever wrote for one of those gatherings. I now remember because I had it in my head. I need to write something. We're all getting together soon. I need to write a song for the Wednesday night gathering. And I thought, like, oh, I'll write, like, what would happen if the Carter family didn't always write songs about misery? What if they were happy once in a while? So I wrote that kind of song. But I also come up with this one, and I would say that of all the songs I've ever written, if I'm going to point to one that maybe has a tinge of Townes Van Zandt influence in it, it's this song here called Scream. I haven't played this one a lot the last few years. I've practiced it the last couple days. That does not guarantee I'm going to get through it without screwing it up. But anyway, D minor, of course it makes me think, maybe that's a Townes Van Zandt influence right there. How do we start the song? On the album version of it, Mark Whitaker plays banjo, I play guitar, and Jim Whitaker plays pedal steel. It's really pared down. Everything is not okay, even if it's looking good. Appearances deceive in ways magicians never could. Photograph of you and me makes me wanna smoke, and mirrors are reminders my life's become a joke. Sometimes I need a hole to crawl into and dream. Other times I need to find a place where I can scream. Owl on a fence post, dove beneath the clouds. The shunned attract attention like a crowd attracts a crowd. These harbingers know good and well the contents of my cup. Half the time I feel fine, right now I'm bottled up. Oh, what I wouldn't give to float gently down the stream, if I knew for sure I'd end up in a place where I could scream. Casey stepped up to the plate, and he didn't fare so well. No one ever tells of what became after he fell. I'd like to think he took it hard out on a drunken spree, and wound up in the bar that night sitting next to me. Every now and then I can take one for the team. After that I need to find a place where I can scream. Yeah, I need a locomotive, Casey, with a full head of steam, to take me someplace far away where I can go to scream. Scream. So I've talked about a bunch of the folks on this album. I haven't talked hardly at all at this point about Jim Whitford. I've known Jim Whitford now since I think 1994. Could be 93, but I'm thinking it was probably 94. And I used to go to a bar called Nietzsche's in Allentown. Buffalo, New York has a section out where Allen Street and Elmwood Avenue intersect, and it's called Allentown. It's where you find the Old Pink and Mulligan's Brick Bar, and I wonder how those businesses are doing right now. Nietzsche's is where I played one of my first open mics. It's where I played some of my earliest shows. It's where I met Tom Fenton and the Fibs, and we'll go to their happy hour every week. And it's where I fell in love with the Pine Dogs, Jim Whitford's band, and Jim played guitar in that band. I had no idea that Jim Whitford had started out playing bass. I had no idea about a lot of things. Still don't. On this particular album, I had worked with Jim on other recordings at this point. He plays bass on Driver from 2005. He had played some bass and guitar on other recordings that I had made earlier in my career. When it got down to making this one, I was like, I needed him to be a utility guy, because he plays bass and he plays guitar. He also plays pedal steel. He's a really good singer. And so throughout the album, Jim played all the things that Jim plays. And anyway, I think on this particular recording, he's featured on Doghouse bass. I'm trying to find it. Oh, and dobro. I'm now reminded of why I was telling you all that other stuff. On this particular song, he also plays dobro. And this track, Circular World, is one of the songs I wrote on the tenor banjo. I'm going to play it on the banjo here in a second, but on this one, our friend Mark Whitaker played the 5-string banjo, and everybody did the foot stomps and the hand claps and sang. Jeff Gaynor played the, what did Jeff Gaynor play on this? I think he sang and did foot stomps. Yeah, him and Michael Eck and Chris DeSanti were all in on the foot stomps and the field holler vocals. And Ryan Fitzsimmons once again played that 1922 Gibson CB4 cello banjo. I don't know if Melanie's out there watching, but the last time I did a live stream, she asked for this song, and I didn't get around to it because of the tuning, and then I played it as an encore. Just so you know, if you're still with me out there, friends, in the comments section, let me see some applause and heart emojis and whatnot. But I intend to do as long as I can. I'm really thankful right now that the neighbors didn't get their leaf blower going, you know, or there isn't like a siren going by. Afternoon live streaming has its own obstacles, you know, to contend with. But I plan to do these on the second Tuesday of the month at 2. Second Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And I want to do them on the third Thursday of the month, all together now. I'll do a 2-hour show. I'll put out the request list. I don't know how the second Tuesday of the month programming is going to go. I thought that starting with playing all the songs off of Another Man's Treasure was a good way to come out of the gate with this idea. But second Tuesday at 2, and then third Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern till 10 p.m. Eastern Time, be doing live streams for you a couple times a month, and the occasional impromptu. Hey there, Susan. Thank you so much. Comments are really helpful to me. It keeps me, you know, in the absence of seeing people dancing and smiling and hearing applause or laughter, it's nice to see the comments pop up. Really, it helps me mentally to stay in the game. I think that's about as close to in tune as we're going to get the banjo. I'm not even going to try to start messing with it right now. But track 10 from this album, featuring Jim Whitford on dobro and Mark Whitaker on 5-string banjo and Ryan Fitzsimmons on the 1922 Gibson CB4 cello banjo and me on tenor banjo. 3 banjos, ladies and gentlemen, on this track. And Jeff Gaynor, Michael Eck, Ashley Amoya, everybody just singing and stomping their feet. Here's what the solo version sounds like. If the world were flat, the movie'd be over by now. If the world were flat, the movie'd be over by now. But it's a circular world and the stories just keep spinning around. The sun come up, the sun gonna go back down. Hey, the sun come up, the sun gonna go back down. In a circular world where the stories just keep spinning around. Circle in the wagon, spinning round the sun. Stick a feather in your cap, call it revolution. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. You know it wasn't very long ago when folks believed the world was flat. Imagine that. If the world were flat, the movie'd be over by now. Yeah, if the world were flat, the movie'd be over by now. But it's a circular world and the stories just keep spinning around. Here's my favorite lyric in this particular song. I don't know why. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat, it all makes sense to me now. Sing along if you know it. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat, it all makes sense to me now. It's a circular world and the stories just keep spinning around and around. Circle in the wagon, spinning round the sun. Stick a feather in your cap, call it revolution. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. You know it wasn't very long ago when folks believed the world was flat. But if the world were flat, the movie'd be over by now. Once more with feeling, everybody. Hey, if the world were flat, the movie'd be over by now. That's right, Franny. Hey, in a circular world where the stories just keep spinning around. Circular world. Haven't written a new song in a while. Tried. Early on in the quarantine, I made a point of writing every day. I probably wrote 12 songs the first 14 days of quarantine, and I wasn't really liking them all that much at all. Didn't write. I wrote one that I like. You know, hey, there's my MCF shirt from year number 2. Wrote one that I like, but I haven't. At some point, about 4 weeks ago, I just kind of gave up trying to force writing songs, and now I'm playing this instrument here, and I think to myself, maybe you need to fuss around with that a little bit more, see if I can come up with a new song on the banjo. Liam says hi. Excellent. Hello, Liam. Gonna play a song that I know Griffin likes here in a couple of songs because it's the last one on the album. But right now, I referenced this earlier. I told you about those songwriting hangs that we used to do, and the fact that I needed to the very first one. I was like, man, I need to have a song for Wednesday night. I better write one, you know. And I came up with this song based on the idea like playing something that sounded old-timey to me, that kind of thing. But like, what if the Carter family, you know, sang about being like happy and having fun instead of just like working and then dying? which seems to be an ongoing theme in their work. Harder times, you know. Anyway, on Time Does Fly, our friend Michael Eck, who had, you know, I thought he was going to be driving up to Buffalo from Pennsylvania, but he detoured through the state of Indiana to go to a wedding, you know. And Michael, I discovered that he played keyboards really well, you know. Hammond B3 and Rhodes, groovy kind of like funky electric piano sound. But it turns out he's also a really good harmony singer, high harmony, and he plays melodica too. You know, so there's a song coming up called "Men in My Family" that Michael played melodica on, but on this song he sang high harmony, and everything's on this song. Like on the recorded version of "Time Does Fly," you got Jim Whitford on the upright bass. He would overdub a dobro part later on. Mark Whitaker once again played the 5-string banjo. There's a few songs like "The Wolf" and "Scream" where he plays not "Scream." I'm sorry. One of the other songs, "Men in My Family" maybe, where Mark plays bass. Yeah, Mark played the harmony electric bass on "Men in My Family" and on "The Wolf." But on this song, Mark was once again playing 5-string banjo. Jeff Gaynor played the 12-string acoustic guitar. Jeff, who's been playing keyboards and everything else up to this point and singing, now he's playing 12-string acoustic guitar. Chris DeSanti is on the drums. Michael Eck is on harmony vocal. And what I'm telling you all of this information here for is I played mandolin, and I wound up later on overdubbing a track with the 1922 Gibson CB4 cello banjo. Ryan Fitzsimmons played guitar on this while I was playing mandolin. We used every channel input on the board. Like the board has whatever, 12 channels or 16 inputs, I forget, but like we maxed it out. Every microphone that Matt Smith, the engineer, who Matt wound up playing electric guitar on Garbage Man and Signpost. Matt, who played electric guitar with Scott Carpenter and the Real McCoys, one of those bands that I just loved when I was cutting my teeth in Buffalo. We maxed out his gear. Every microphone, every cable, every channel on the board was plugged in, and we were trying to capture this song live. So there you have me standing in front of a microphone holding the mandolin up like this, and Michael is on the other side of that microphone singing the high harmony on the song, because we needed to put all three of those things, my voice, his voice, and the mandolin, onto one microphone to make it work. This one here is called "Time Does Fly." Boy, does it. And you slave from the cradle to the grave, and the work is never done. Boss ain't around, love's out of town. Put that hammer down and have some fun. Oh, where'd the time go? Will it ever come back to me? Hey, my, how the time does fly away. Some folks say, ain't no time for play. Gotta make that money, don't you know? Make that money, yeah they do. Then they die just like you singing. Can't take it with you when you go. Oh, where'd the time go? Will it ever come back to me? Hey, my, how the time does fly away. Out today and your sonny wants to play. Who's gonna say if you do? It never fails, someone tattletales. Hey time, yeah time will tell on you. Oh, where'd the time go? Will it ever come back to me? Hey my, how the time does fly away. never come back to me. Hey, my mind, how the time does fly away, 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 away from me. Thank you so much. You're too kind. Really, you're too kind. Oh my gosh. Think I can say Mother Maybelle dancing. Indeed. That's what we're trying to do. Get Mother Maybelle dancing. I got a very little bit of rye left in my cup here. Coming down to the last song of the album, contemplating for the last couple of numbers now whether or not I should do an encore or play a little bit longer than the album. Don't know that I will. I'll leave it up to you in the comments. Maybe if 20 people suddenly would be like, yeah, I'll do it. But the last song on the album is a song that I always, when I play it, I always imagine people kind of like doing this in a pub somewhere and singing along with it. I know it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time. It's 2 o'clock over there in Central Time. It's getting late in Europe, though. I know I got one or two folks in France that are friends of mine, and maybe some Scotland and England is going on. I don't know if anybody's watching over there in Europe right now, but if you got a glass of something, this is a good song to do this to. And it's one of the older songs on the album. I don't remember when I wrote it. I know that I wrote it and never played it at shows. For a bunch of years it existed, and it was the kind of song that I would break out late night hanging out with friends. You know, if there were a bunch of us, you know, sharing the guitar or maybe a campfire at a festival or something, I would play this song in that environment. But I did not find myself playing it at shows until after I recorded it. And yes, Jim, that is very good to know. Especially the oldest one. He's got to set an example for his brothers. When we got around to recording this one, Jim Whitford, who had been playing bass on so many songs, Jim played acoustic guitar, played a rhythm guitar part, and Mark Whitaker was once again playing the harmony electric bass, and Michael Eck played the melodica. After all that high harmony singing and Hammond B3 organ and whatnot, Michael was on the melodica on this song. Jeff Gaynor played keys and sang. Ashley Amoya was once again part of the group vocal. I had met Ashley. My niece Emily was the celebrity child for the Variety Kids Telethon, and I was invited to come and sing a song with her earlier that year. I think it was February of 2013, and at the telethon I met Ashley Amoya, and we hit it off, and I was like, you know, keeping in touch and whatnot. Hey, I'm going to be recording this album. Would you come and sing on it? And she lent her vocals to a bunch of these gang vocal songs like Men in My Family, You Are My Sunshine, Circular World. Anyway, I had only met Ashley months before this recording process, and she came and hung tough on these very long days. And she sang on this one. Chris DeSanti played the drums and percussion, and I played guitar. And everybody, we had all the instruments, acoustic instruments and whatnot, mic'd in the room. So basically, everybody in the room just sang out loud, la, 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 kind of thing. And in my brain, I was imagining, what if we all had just one more hand and a beverage? And we could all play it and do this. Okay, it just feels like such a pub song to me. And again, I don't remember precisely when I wrote it. I would say sometime in the early aughts is when this one happened. A little something in 6/8 time. You can waltz to it if that's your thing. It's the one song on the album that I think you can waltz to if you're out there dancing in your kitchen. It's called Men in My Family, and it sounds like this here. La 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 la. Men in my family give a firm handshake and look you get drunk, just might sing hallelujah. La 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 la. Men in my family all wear blue collars. They work hard and do a good job. I've got uncles and cousins, those old ones and youngins, fathers and brothers and brothers-in-law. La 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 la. When I was born, got a name of my own. My father and one of my uncles are juniors. They're set in the ways that have influenced me. Yes, I've learned from watching the man in my family. La 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 la. La 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 la. One more time. La 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 la. Cheers, friends. There you have it. Another Man's Treasure, my 2013 release. Likely as not, the most popular thing I ever released on a CD. As far as I know, I only have this many of them left. Which I discovered in quarantine, doing a little bit of house cleaning, trying to find boxes of stuff. I'm like, I got no more of them than that. Happened to stumble upon 3 more in my one gear bag. I saw a comment go by, not gonna happen, saying a bonus track would be a suitable encore. I could do that. I do like playing music, and I have very, very little else to attend to today. Earlier today, some friends of mine and I, we released a single called In the Dark. Such a cool collaboration. It's on the Bandcamp page. If you haven't visited that in a while, there's a new single up there called In the Dark. And the way it started was my buddy Andy Santaspago, who's collaborated with me on a lot of stuff. He plays guitar all over Fake Songs, Maybe the Ocean, and C&W. We've done a bunch of gigs together in Greater Boston. Andy was on Facebook one day, and he was playing guitar along with some bass tracks that this fella Paul Chase had posted somewhere. I'm like, oh wow, that's a really cool idea. So I came up with a chord progression, and I sent it to Paul. I'm like, hey, why don't you play bass on this, and then send it to Andy. So I did that, Paul did that, sent it to Andy, and then Andy was like, hey, here's what I come up with. I'm like, well, you got to pass it off to somebody. It's a chain letter. Bring into it whoever you want, you know. Andy handed it off to this guy named Bob Bradshaw. Bob wrote these cool lyrics to it and then sang them into his iPhone. And this all ends up in the hands of our very capable friend Dave Wessner. And Dave winds up mixing it together and playing drums on it. And it's so friggin' cool. So anyway, it's the grungiest sounding thing I've ever done or participated in. It's a 5-way co-write collaboration quarantine thing that just kind of happened, and we posted it on Bandcamp. Bob's got it on his page, I've got it on mine. And all the proceeds from that single are going to go to something called the Boston Cambridge Musicians Relief Fund. It's very important to me right now. I feel blessed to have the situation I have. I can afford where I live. I've got a cool housemate. I've got food in the pantry. I've even got some canned food now. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm comfortable for the time being. This could all change 3-4 months from now. I might be up Schitt's Creek. I don't know. But at the moment, I'm doing okay, and as long as I'm doing okay, it's important to me to help other people out. So the In the Dark, all the proceeds from the sale of In the Dark are going to go to the Boston Cambridge Musicians Relief Fund. 25% of what happens on my PayPal and Venmo right now, I will later today donate that to the Music Cares COVID-19 Fund when I do my third Thursday of the month live stream on the 21st of May. 25% of what comes in is going to go to the Kerrville Folk Festival Foundation. Got a bunch of friends in the world that I've either met at Kerrville or are in some other way connected to Kerrville. You know, so the 21st of May, the charitable cause that night is going to be the Kerrville Folk Festival Foundation. More news coming to an internet near you real soon. I'll play you one more song. I'll play you a song that didn't make it onto the album. There were 16 songs in total recorded. I don't remember a couple of them, meaning like I know which ones they were, I just don't remember how they go anymore. Of the ones that I put a couple of MP3s on the CD themselves, and one of those 2 songs was called Sarah Lou. This song was a big contender for last song of the album. Ultimately, it wound up being Men in My Family, which I think really was the much better call. Even now, I think about I listened to the recording the other day of Sarah Lou, and I'm like, absolutely, Men in My Family was the much better song to end the album with. But this one here was almost the final track of the album. I'm going to make it the final track of this live stream. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you. I really do appreciate all the comments that happen. It just keeps me engaged with that, and to know that, you know, it just registers right away. Somebody's out there checking this out. Thank you for checking it out. Thanks for sharing it with friends. And mark your calendar for May 21st, Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Do a 2-hour show. I'll be posting the request list soon. Keep an eye. Watch this space. I'll be posting the request list and trying to harvest everybody's requests and make the show as interactive as I can. All right, Sarah Lou sounds a little something like. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's right. Sarah Lou, may I stay with you tonight? When the party's through and everything gets quiet, Sarah Lou, may I stay with you tonight. In this dirty old town, you glow like candlelight. Sarah Lou, may I stay with you tonight? I've been feeling blue. Would it be alright, Sarah Lou, if I stayed with you tonight? I'm only lonely. You don't have to run. You know I wouldn't ask just anyone. When the live stream's through and everything gets quiet, Sarah Lou, may I stay with you tonight? Oh. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Another live stream coming on May 21st, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. 25% of the funds will go to the Kerrville Folk Festival Foundation. Save the date, tell a friend, watch this space. Stay safe out there, all right? Till the next time.